This bus is as dead as a dodo. Let's see if we can fix it and get it started. Most families live in houses, but we live in a double-decker bus.
We're a family of 7, living life a little differently.
This is 7 in a bus.
So welcome back to the videos. Today we're going to take this starter motor out of our green bus because it doesn't work anymore. You can see where I fit it with an hammer to get it going, which did get it going, but it's not working. His plunger is not plunging out, so it's probably the solenoid, which I've been told in this bit here. So what we've got to do is, this is the access panel from the back of the bus, where the batteries normally sit. There's this access panel which I've removed. We're going to remove these 2 bolts, and then I've been told that there's a small fire wire, which I presume is this one at the bottom here. There's a screwdriver in there, and then up here somewhere is this sheath here. There'll be a bracket, a nut on that, which I undo, and then that releases it, and it should all slide back and come out. It's meant to be as easy as that, apparently. So let's see how we get on. Get these terminals off. So we've got the bolts off and the cable. I've undone now the mount at the back. So now the motor is moving. Just need now to clean this off and get it to push back that way to release that from obviously the flywheel, which is not attached to obviously, but obviously where it goes to, out down to this gap here, and then try and get it out. Let's see how we go on. So she is going slowly but surely, using a screwdriver and there's a bit of leverage. So this one's sort of leveraged out now, just to get it out. I'm not quite sure how far it's meant to come, but obviously it's getting that, all the grime off that to push it along. So I'll keep working it. We'll soon get out. It's got a plate on this one as well, which is always a good sign. Slowly getting there, just put the claw hammer in here just to give it a pull back, which now I can feel from the other side of the bracket, it's virtually through. You can see it's wobbling now from that. So let's just see how far we can get this now. That's a big old thing, isn't it? It's out. Weighs an absolute ton. So it was just down there in that gap down there, which is where the batteries normally sit. I need to go clean out because it's always been muddy. I'm going to pop it into this box and then run it down to have it looked at.
Heavy that, comrade.
In. So what we've got with the bus at the minute, obviously when we turn the bus on at the front and we got to start it, this will then pull out. It says it does pull out because we've had it pulling out. Oh, that's interesting, now it's not pulling out. But this will basically pop out and engage with the flywheel, and then you can see the minute it's stuck, but it has been pulling out. So we need to get it looked at. That's interesting, now it's locked up now because it was pulling out.
Could it be where it's vertical instead of horizontal?
I don't think so. But yeah, we're going to run these down to split charge. Now split charge have got all the equipment to basically rebuild this. They do it on the daily, so a lot of the garden stuff actually goes to split charge for work. So yeah, let's run it down there. Luckily it's only 5 minutes down the road. So run down there and have a look. I can't figure that out, why that's now stuck. Keep us safe as we go in. Right, let's get into it and see what we can do with this. So this machine is going to test the alternator. The starter.
It's doing more than what it was doing on the bus.
It's doing more than it did on the bus, Nick, because it was proper weak.
That needs looking at.
It needs looking at. Look how cool this old machine is.
Ooh. started. Oh. Rubber dub dub. Yeah. You're hoping for the red light not to light up.
Like it is.
No. When you touch these metals inside, you're hoping for no red light.
No red light.
But when you touch the body on the outside, you should get a red light, look. There you go. Auxiliary coils. Full unit.
So it's the next day, and I've had a video from the team down here at Split Charge, basically showing that this starter is now fully rebuilt and working better than it's ever worked before. So there's definitely been something wrong with it, because from the video you can hear the difference in the starting and obviously the winding up of the starter motor, which is really good. So let's get inside, collect it, see what the crack was, and then let's go and see if we can get it back on the green bus and see if it'll start. Let's go.
There you go, big lad.
Thank you. Is it heavy?
It's heavy.
Ooh. Very shiny. So we're back at the bus. Just brought the start motor in, just popped it down there on the floor. I'm gonna go get the area down the bottom ready to sort of put it back in. Now when I undid it, I had to undo the bracket fully. And I'm wondering whether to put the bracket on while it's off, because it's really fiddly to get to, and just put 2 turns on and see if I can slide the starter back in without having to try and hold it, because I'm the only one that can get in the hole at one time. Like, no one else can get in there to hold it. So I'm just trying to figure out which way is best to do it. Now I know a few people have messaged us on Facebook asking what the cost is for like a starter motor to be rebuilt, or looked at rebuilt. So they Split Charge, Maltby Automotive, who do the work. The alternator cost me £400 plus VAT. Now, not the alternator. Start again. So obviously Split Charge, Maltby Automotive, the starter motors cost me £400 plus VAT for the repair. Now that was for basically a full strip down, a full rebuild. The only components need to be changed in it were the brushes, obviously to stop the wobble on the end, and obviously just to clean up of everything. I asked them not to repaint the outer shell. I'm going to do that. So obviously let's get the cost down a little bit. They can do anything. What Sam and Ian were saying was that they can cost from anything from about £400, £450 up to £1,000, depending what the internals need. Now parts for these are getting quite scarce. They have quite a large stock holding down there, and there's bits and bobs that they can sort of make work again. I wasn't really sure how they meant, but it can be done. So if you've got anything that's needing starter motor work, they do alternators, they do regulators. There's not much they can't do down there. I'll put the details in the comments for them so you can have a look at what they do. And they're just based here in Rotherham, just past, or not 5 minutes from the football stadium. So I'm back in my hole, and I need to get that onto there. Well, at least that turns. It's quite tight though. So I think I don't really know what to do here. That is the problem. It's going to be very heavy to try and lift up onto that bracket with nothing from underneath. Might need to relook at this. Obviously then the starter will go into there. This is the hole I'm working with. It's not particularly big. So I've put the bracket back on with 2 turns of the thread. It's a bit out of shape, but I will try and get the starter motor in and see if we can guide it through into there. If not, we'll have to figure out, maybe get like a prop to hold it up from underneath, to be able to hold it in place while we do that up. It is very tight and it's up here, so it's hard to get to at best of times, but we'll see what we can do and go from there. So we've got it back in situ. It's taken us probably about an hour to get it all lined up.
And lots of meltdowns.
Not a few meltdowns, pushed it across. We've got the bracket now, it's secure. We've got positive and negative back on. Obviously the battery's still connected, but I have got to attach now this trigger lead, the exciter cable. I really should have probably done this while I had access to it better on. We'll get flatheads and we'll put that in and get that going. Then we'll see how we're at. So she's back in. I have just put the exciter lead on a Wago from the original because it's too short on the wiring. I need to make a wiring adjustment. Just for testing purposes, we'll leave it like that. So we can connect the batteries up and see if we get a fire. Okay, let's see how we get on. So the course has gone around the back and she's going to listen for any bad noises. Hopefully I've not done anything wrong and we'll see. You ready? Here we go. We're winning, we're winning, we're winning, we're winning. Took a bit longer to start than normal, but I think it's obviously where the batteries are a bit low. Give them a good charge now. Last one for the win. We're just waiting for these air gauges to go up, and we're going to have a look in the engine bay. Make sure everything's working alright, and go and check underneath that bench seat, just to make sure nothing's moved. So she's all warmed up, nice and nicely. We're just going to turn her off. And then so it goes turn off from the back. Just turn on. Oh, we've got cab heater. Alright, let's leave it up. Leave it closed then. Right, so second go. Should fire a bit better this time. Yep. So, we're done. I'm filthy. I need to put the batteries back, put my tools away, and get back to some normality at the back of the bus so Nicole can have somewhere to sit down, because I've took over with toolboxes, and everything's out. Thank you very much to, obviously, Ian and Sam at Split Charge for getting that sorted in less than 24 hours. It's not an easy job. It's a very skilled job, and I would have had not a clue. I would have just gone and brought new. So, it's good it's the original one that's still on the bus. That is good. It starts beautifully. It's probably starting a little bit better as well, if anything, and you can definitely hear it returning on listening to it. Then I could hear the return a lot better, so it's definitely plunging better than it was. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.